So I'm here at Better Blokes in Canberra with Fred Gollasch, who is one of the founders of the Better Blokes movement. Picked me up from the airport the other day. He's been looking after me.
Yep.
Tell us how Better Blokes began.
Well, it began as a smaller weekend about 21 years ago when I got a heart for young men, and we wanted to help them be better fathered. But Better Blokes took its present form about 9 years ago when I got connected to Ian Watson, and we got him down to speak, and it all took off from there. So it's been a big connection between Better Blokes and the Shed Happens movement. They feed each other.
Now, a lot of blokes are new this year. I think 75 of the blokes here for the first time.
Yep.
It's been so good to see a lot of these guys responding and coming for prayer and spilling their guts, sharing what's going on in their life.
Yep.
What would you say to any men listening to this who aren't serious in their walk with God, who are, hiding their shame, that need to open up to God? What's your advice to them?
Well, if you're not going to be real, if you're going to hide away and not talk about it, not talk about how you've stuffed yourself up, not talk about the silly things you've done, if you don't talk about the pain in your heart, you're going to suffer, and you'll get depression, and that can even lead to suicide. So silence is poison. Silence is deadly. You really have to open up. And you need an encouraging environment like we have here at Better Blokes, which helps you open up.
Now, I heard a great story of a bloke that had been in prison for a while who was looking for Jesus, and you bumped into him in the church car park, and I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm looking for Jesus." Can you tell us the rest of the story?
Yeah, that's young Jason. He's here at the moment. It's a long story. He grew up in Sydney. His mum walked out when he was 3. He had 2 older brothers. His dad was an alcoholic. He was drinking alcohol at the age of 10. He was into drugs at the age of 12. Got into armed robbery. He was a criminal all his life in Sydney. Went to jail many, many times. Never ever had a car licence. Drove around without a licence. And he fathered 3 children, and he was sleeping out on a soccer field in Western Sydney one night, and he just collapsed on the ground, on the floor, and said, "God, if you're real, I want you to rescue me." And he went before, and this is surprising, he went before a lenient magistrate. We don't like lenient magistrates. We want these blokes to be punished. And this magistrate said, "I'm going to give you one more chance. You've been in jail all your life. You've got a continuous criminal record, but I'm sending you to a halfway house in Canberra to get treated for alcoholism and drug addiction, and it's a 12-month program, and it'll help you come out of it." And during that 12 months, he had a little bit of freedom, and he was one of their star pupils, and he turned up at our church. And I felt this clear message saying to me, "Look over there." And I looked over on the left, and there was Jason standing there looking like a shag on a rock. And I raced over and said, "G'day, I'm Fred." He said, "I'm Jason." I said, "What brought you to our church?" And he said, "I'm looking for Jesus." How's that?
That's great.
And we connected straight away, and he's come through, and he's highly successful in his work, and he's a new man.
Isn't that just what it's all about, seeing blokes have their lives transformed? He was on the wrong track.
Yep.
Now he's on the right path.
Yep.
And we've seen a lot of blokes this weekend share their stories of what they've been going through.
Yeah.
What's some of the takeaways that you've had this weekend? What's some of the stuff that's really challenged you this weekend?
Oh, look, there's so many of them. I could point to a whole lot of blokes. A fella called Clinton, who came for prayer a couple of years ago out the front, and he happened to come to me for prayer, and I had no idea what to pray, and I just felt myself saying, "Clinton, have you got any idea how much God loves you? He can't take his eyes off you. He just adores you. He sings over you. You are precious to him." And I went away, and he went away, and didn't think any more about it. A year later, he came back, and he said, "Those words just kept echoing in my heart."
Yeah.
And he's a new man, and he's alive, and he's married. He's got 1.5 kids, and he's just fired up. You can see it in his face. He's just alive.
So good. Well, if people want to find out more, they can go to Better Blokes on Facebook. We've got a website and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
150 blokes this year, but you can take about 180, so you might get fill up next year, eh?
That'll be good. That'll be good. We've had 170 one year, 175, but we've been around 150